Her mother, Mira, looked surprised but calm. A woman exhausted by life yet glowing with quiet dignity. Ethan explained everything, the decline card, the humiliation, the moment Lila stepped forward, but even as he spoke, he could tell Mira already knew half of it just by the way she was studying him, not studying his clothes or his watch, she was studying his eyes. People who had suffered enough learned to read souls, not surfaces. The soft light from a small lamp flickered once as Mira pulled out the chair across from him. She sat with a slow, steady grace that came from years of carrying burdens too heavy for someone her size. Her hands folded on the table, knuckles worn from work, nails short, skin calloused, cards decline, she said gently. Life does strange things sometimes. Her tone wasn't judgmental. It wasn't amused, it was simply accepting, the way someone accepts storms and seasons. Ethan swallowed. He wasn't used to comforting words from strangers, he wasn't used to kindness without price tags. Lila crawled onto her mother's lap, still buzzing with excitement as if she had rescued a lost puppy. Mama, he was so embarrassed, she whispered loudly, cupping her hand around Myra's ear. He looked like he was gonna vanish. Ethan nearly choked. Mira hid a smile behind her hand. Lila, she said softly, everyone has hard moments. You mustn't make them feel worse. The little girl nodded quickly, suddenly very serious. Right. Sorry, Ethan. She hopped off Myra's lap and marched toward him. I'm sorry you were embarrassed. Next time, don't worry, just call me. I'm brave for both of us. He had no idea what to say. He felt something warm press against the walls of his chest, something unfamiliar, uncomfortable, yet strangely welcome. Mira poured him a cup of tea, weak, but warm. She sat again, watching him carefully. So, she said softly. Who are you really? Ethan blinked. What do you mean? You walk like a man who's used to space, she replied calmly. You talk like someone who makes decisions quickly. Your shoes cost more than my monthly rent. She paused, eyes steady. And you look like someone who hasn't had a homemade meal in a long time. Ethan stared at her. She wasn't guessing, she was seeing him. He took a slow breath. I run a company. Mira nodded. Is it large? Yes. And does it leave room for anything human? He froze. The question was so soft, but it hit him harder than any boardroom confrontation. He didn't answer. He didn't need to. Mira already knew. She sipped her own tea. Lila sat on the floor drawing something with a broken crayon. For a moment, the room was silent except for the storm outside and the distant hum of pipes in the walls. You know, Mira murmured, life has a way of stopping you when you're going too fast. Sometimes gently, she glanced at Lila, and sometimes by making your card decline at the worst possible moment. That pulled a small laugh out of him, a quiet, cracked laugh he barely recognized as his own. He finally looked around the apartment fully. A tiny bookshelf leaned against the wall, filled with children's stories and 2 old romance novels. A photograph of a man, presumably Lila's father, sat on top, smiling through the dust on the frame. The small stove hissed softly. The air felt honest. If I may ask, Mira said after a pause, why were you paying for something yourself? Men like you, well-off men, usually have people to do that. She said it without envy, without resentment, simply truthfully. Ethan rubbed the back of his neck. I wanted to walk today. Walk? Lila perked up immediately. Walking is the best. Mama says we see the world better when our feet touch the ground. Yes, Ethan murmured. She's right. Mira watched him closely, and he could feel the weight of her gaze, not intrusive, not suspicious, just searching. Are you running from something? She asked quietly. Another hit. He closed his eyes for a second. From myself, I suppose. Lila gasped dramatically. Oh no. Ethan, how can you run from yourself? You're right there. She pointed at his chest earnestly. He couldn't help it. He laughed again, a real one this time. Myra's lips curved in a tired, grateful smile at the sound. Lila marched back to her drawing. It's okay. I used to run from myself too. When Daddy died. Ethan's breath caught. Mira looked down, pain flickering through her face, but she let the girl speak. I thought maybe if I ran far, I wouldn't be sad anymore, Lila continued, but Mama said sadness is like your shadow. It follows you until you're ready to sit with it. Ethan felt the air leave his lungs. Mira spoke softly. She was 5 when her father passed. I'm sorry, Ethan whispered. Mira nodded. It happens. Life doesn't ask permission. He looked at her more closely now. She was young, too young to have eyes so tired. Her shoulders carried a quiet strength that came not from choice, but necessity. Mama? Lila suddenly called, can Ethan see Daddy's picture? Mira hesitated, then nodded, bring it gently. The girl brought the picture to him with both hands, careful and proud. A man with kind eyes. A warm smile, the kind of face that could make a child feel safe. He looks like a good man, Ethan said. He was, Mira replied quietly. They both looked at the photo for a moment. Lila rested her chin on the table, watching them. You know, she said thoughtfully, you look sad like he did sometimes. Ethan blinked. What do you mean? Daddy got quiet when he was tired inside. She tapped her chest, inside tired. Not sleep tired. He swallowed hard. Mira reached over and gently brushed a curl from Lila's cheek. Enough, sweetheart? No, Mama, Lila insisted softly. He needs to hear it. She turned to Ethan. You were sad before I met you. I can tell because your eyes didn't smile when you smiled. That means your heart is heavy. Ethan's mouth parted slightly. That he didn't know this little girl, and yet she had peeled him open like pages in a book. Mira sighed. She notices everything. It's her gift. The rain outside softened to a gentle patter. The room felt warmer, maybe because of the tea or the soup or something else he couldn't name. Mira, he said quietly, thank you for letting me stay. You needed a place to breathe, she replied simply, and my door is open as long as your intentions are honest. He nodded. He'd never been trusted so quickly nor tested so silently. Lila climbed onto his lap without asking, curling like a cat. He stiffened at first. No one had touched him gently in years, but then his arms slowly relaxed around her. Mama, she murmured, already sleepy, he's not lost anymore. And for the first time, Ethan realized she was right. In this little apartment, with soup, storm, and strangers, he had found something he didn't know he needed. A moment of peace. A glimpse of real life. A reminder that kindness still existed. He didn't know what came next, but he was certain of one thing, this wasn't the end of his story. It was the beginning of something that would change him forever. And he wasn't going to run from himself anymore.